Okay, so at this stage, right, we've been successful in creating extrusions. Those extrusions are considered solids, right? Just like you would create an extrusion of a surface in Rhino, right? Actually, I should say the relationship that you need to kind of understand between Rhino and Grasshopper in terms of geometry redundancy is that the rails and curves that you use in Rhino when you manually craft geometry, you know how when you modify that geometry, usually those rails, they stay? Like if you draw a circle and you extrude it in Rhino, you still have the curve of the circle. Grasshopper is similar in a sense, and it retains, but it's also different in the fact that it actually retains all information, every step of the way throughout your entire process. Okay, so we, in being diligent students and being professional about being clean in our work, need to manage what information is actually being shown on screen at any given time. Here's how I know I have a conflict. When I select this extrusion, and if I rotate underneath, I can see that there's a red surface underneath. That means that there's another surface that I don't have selected that exists in the same place as my geometry here. And that surface happens to be this. Similarly, we have the circles, which won't show because we have the surface over top of it, and we have the grid itself. So all of this geometry is currently visible, and it stays there. And it won't, I could do a million different things and keep adding on commands and commands and commands, and all of that geometry exists in Grasshopper all the time. So what do we do about it? The simplest form of quality control for your models is to just hide things. And it's pretty simple. Whatever you want to show, you can kind of just select it like that and select everything else that you don't need anymore. So you can window select and grab everything. And there's a hotkey that I showed you on Tuesday that we can use quite frequently, and it's the middle mouse click button, or the wheel click button. Okay, this brings up your shortcut menu, and the particular one that I want you to pay extra close attention to here are these little heads. Okay, so this says enable preview and disable preview with the blindfold on. Okay, anything you want to turn off, you can turn off using disable preview. So you just disable it, and then all that extra information goes away. So all you're left with is your extrusions. If you want to turn something back on, let's say I still want to track the grid, but I don't want to see the circles or the surfaces. I can right-click that particular one, and you'll see the preview button also exists here. When it's on, it'll show disable. When it's off, it'll show enable. Like that. So now my grid is visible as well. Clever enough for you? Cool. How much do we want to cover? Okay. So let me kind of switch gears here for a moment, and I want to show you something that's a little different. I'm basically going to introduce to you how do we actually set up a grid on a warped surface. That's exciting.